There we go. No foam. No. Oh, hey guys! Welcome to another riveting edition of the Ghost and the Goat. With me, your host, Buddy Thayer, paranormal investigator. Take me by the hand, not the beer hand, of course. The beer is in the left hand. Your hand is in my right. As we skip through the fields of the paranormal world, it's not such a scary place after all, kids. And they're around us a whole lot more than you'd possibly think. Tonight's guest, we're going to talk a little bit more about spirits and about signs from spirits, and oh yeah, I got everything. I got everything ready to go. Different things, different stuff. A little bit of a personal story, a little bit of a not personal. Yeah, a little bit of a personal story. More on that in about 20 minutes or so. I'm going to bring on my lovely co-host Jai when she arrives, and our mutual friend, our good friend and author. You'll find her name out when I introduce her. But before that time, in that lieu of 20 minutes that we have to sit here and chat, you guys and I want to tell you about a few things. One of which is one of my dearest, one of the dearer people in my life. Dearer, I wouldn't say dearest because that's a whole long list. But one of the dearer people in my life, my stepsister-in-law, Kimberly. She has this new business that she started called Kim's Baked Goods. Kim makes baked goods, right? These beautiful cookies. Like what better? Look at that double fudge. But buddy, what is that 40 mg lemon X? What does that mean, buddy? Well, that means, boys and girls, that adults over 18, that this is salted caramel chocolate. These are lovely, delectable treats that are infused with homegrown, in very good conditions, by the way, Mary Jane, and she has some. It's not crack. You're not smoking crack. It's lime green crack butter, lime green crack. It's a strain. They have like funny names for some of these strands of cannabis, but she makes all of her own stuff in the gourmet kitchens of North Smithfield, up there in North Smithfield, if you will. And she makes all these different treats, and she has a menu. Here's her menu. Not that you can see; it's all handwritten. White chocolate chip fudge. Oh, Reese's. I can see some of the stuff without my glasses. Kim's Baked Goods. You can find her on Facebook. She takes all sorts of orders. She has breads. She has fudge. She has Heather's fudge infused with marijuana. It's absolutely delightful. You can ask my dog, Ginny Page, who inhaled 6 slices and it was high for about 36 hours. Great stuff. I don't recommend it. You do it with your dog because my dog's a lab and she's 80 pounds too heavy. Anyway, it's a digressive story. Anyway, Kim makes Kim's Baked Goods. You can find her on Facebook, Kim's Baked Goods. You can find her on Facebook. You can inquire about her menu on there. You can message her. Say, hey Kim, what do you got this week? What are you doing this week, Kim? I actually talked to Kim tonight, and she told me she was baking a whole bunch of shit on tonight and tomorrow because Thursday, Timberly, her husband Tim, has his shoulder replacement surgery. So good luck, Tim. I'm going to give you not that you're a drink or do, but cheers. Cheers with orange juice. Good luck on your surgery, Tim dog, and we're pulling for you, Tim. We're pulling for you. Other great things that are going on here with me in my life is this is a wonderful time of year for sports. We find ourselves in baseball winter meetings, which stress me out because they're talking about like Bregman. I think Bregman's going to walk away from the Red Sox, my beloved Sox. We had one great hitter for one friggin' year, and then now he might leave. And then they're talking about score. They're like, oh, there's 2 big bats. We want to score them both if we can, or one at least. One big bat signed with Philly. Take Schwarby, our guy Kyle Schwarber, who we used to have. They were going to try and fish him in. They couldn't get him. He ended up going back to the Phillies for a ridiculous amount of money, and he's just a DH. I don't know. My next goal is Alonso. He's the kid from the Mets. He's an infielder. He plays baseball. He doesn't just hit baseballs. So I'm hoping they can score. I think it's Pete or Alonso. I hope they can score him. We'll call him Pete. Hopefully Pete decides to come to Boston. And there's a few other little bats that I'm hoping that they can grab here and there to make hitting more solid. Pick up some good pitching, and hopefully we can be a contender next year. Who knows? Who knows what's going on in Boston? What is going on in New England, though? Jesus Christmas. It pains me to say the New England Patriots are the number 2 seed in the AFC, and they have returned to they think they've returned to the glory days of TFB, Tom F. Brady. Which I don't know if I'm sold on the validity of the New England Patriots, boys and girls. Let me tell you why. Just hear me out. Week 1, they got destroyed by the Raiders, the worst team in football, one of like 8 of the worst teams in football, destroyed by the Raiders. Week 2, they took advantage of a take advantage kind of team like my team, the Dolphins, and they smacked them up a little bit. All right. Week 3, what did they do week 3? I think they got beat by Pittsburgh week 3. Who is like 7 and no, who is like what? That's like 7-6 guy, or maybe they're like 8. I don't know. I think they're 7-6. And Aaron Rodgers is old and shitty, and his secondary on defense, while they have some good big names there, guys, boys and girls, they're all Ole Olsons. So I don't know. Some of these young stud receivers, I don't know. Anyway, let me. I'm sorry. Let me go back to the Patriots here. One of my least favorite teams in all of football. If you knew my wife, Heather, you'd know exactly the story. All right, so we got beat up by the Colts. Oh no, this is the Patriots. Never mind. Fuck the Dolphins. Here we go. The Raiders. So the Raiders beat the Patriots 20-13. Lackluster game, New England. Then they traveled to Miami, and it was 33-27. They allowed a shitty Dolphins team to put up 27 points. Then they got beat up by the Steelers, 21-14, who are, like I said, like 7-6, something like that. And then the Panthers, who are better this year than I believe they were going to be at this time, came to town to New England and volunteered for the free ass kicking that week because New England put up 42 big points against a pretty good defense. All right, so there's maybe one mark in there, one feather in their cap, if you will. Then they traveled to Buffalo and upset the Bills, but the Bills haven't really been the Bills of the past. I'm not trying to take any. Yeah, I'm trying to take stuff away from the Patriots because my Dolphins beat the Bills. So, like, who the frig are you guys? Then they went to the Saints and took the last place team, Saints, and they beat them up. Then they went to Tennessee and played the worst team in football, and a team, mind you, their current head coach got fired by. So you got to figure there's some like, hey, let's get in this guy's good graces and kick the shit out of this team. And that's exactly what they did. They beat the Titans 31-13. Not a terrible feat unless your name is the Cleveland Browns. Their next opponent, who they hosted at Gillette, and they outscored them by a lot, 32-13, beat up on the Cleveland Brownies like everybody else has. Then they welcomed the Falcons into town, and they squeaked one off against the. They barely won that game. Right in the end, I think it was a Falcon. I think the Falcons missed the field goal, and then the Patriots won like this miraculous game. And then they went on their streak, and then they beat. Well, they kind of already on that streak. Then they beat the Buccaneers, which was a close game. If Baker Mayfield didn't make so many damn mistakes and throw the ball away, have turnovers, I don't know if the Patriots would have won that one. Honestly, it was close. It was 28-23. Then they hosted the Jets, which is every team needs like one of those weeks where they just kick the shit out of a bad team. Yeah, this is the Jets. This is that week where they beat up on the Jets 27-14, but they allowed that Jets offense to score 14 points. I don't know. Anyway, then they went to Cincinnati, and faced a 2-11. No, that's the Giants. I'm sorry. They faced the Bengals aren't that. The Bengals are a great team, but they just really haven't put it together. And last night they shot themselves in the foot twice, right in a row, and they gave up a really close game to the Billies. But yeah, the Patriots ended up squeaking one off against them, 26-20. So all right, maybe they're a good team, but they just have a really terrible record. The 2-11 Giants, 0-8 on the road, travel on the road. Guess what happened? They got beat by the Patriots. No shit. Half the team is injured. So now the Patriots have 1, 2, 3, 4 games left of the season. They are 11-2. Cheers, guys. That's after 5 years of like being miserable. Oh, my team sucks. All the pink hats go away, and nobody's a Patriots fan anymore. Congratulations, guys. You finally have a winning record again. Makes me a little sick to think about it, but Patriots are finally 11-2. But how solid is that 11? Now, the 4 games remaining this Sunday, they host the Buffalo Bills, who squeaked out a victory. The Bills were beat by Cincinnati, and then Joe Burrow screwed everything up in the fourth quarter. More about that later, I guess. And then they have the Ravens, who once were a scary team. They have not been scary at all this season. I think they're 6-7. Lamar is not Lamar. Um, what's his face? The running back, Derrick Henry. He's having like one of the. He's having a decent season, but I don't know. He's just they're just not. They're not the Ravens of old. They don't like make you quiver a little bit. Like, oh God, we're gonna have to like really play some football to beat these guys. I don't think the Patriots will have any problems despite being in Baltimore. Then they get to go back to New Jersey and kick the shit out of the Jets again. And then the last game of the year, it's to be decided the time and date. It's probably going to be flexed, but the Patriots are going to host my Dolphins, who are working on God knows what they're working on. So I don't know how solid the path is. That seems like an easy road to me, anyway. Two of the teams are maybes, and two of the teams are maybe nots. Which one is which is yet to be decided, but I guess you could take a guess and just whatever. So the Patriots look like they're going to cruise right into the playoffs. My Dolphins are currently what are they? I think we have like six. We're 6-7, and this is a massive improvement because these are guys who started the season with like one win, and they have one win forever. And there's all this like, oh, we're gonna fire everybody. Everybody's losing their job. Then they started winning games. Oh, they won this one. They won that one. Hey, they won a game here. Hey, they beat the Bills. Oh my God! Right, and then they played the Saints a few weeks ago. The Saints are the worst, one of the worst teams in football, one of the top 8 worst teams in football, and have no business like scoring points in any game, even though they beat the first place. Anyway, and then after the game, Tua, of course, threw multiple interceptions as he always does, and almost gave up the game as he always does. And he's not a great quarterback. Tom F. Brady came out and said they should get rid of Tua. They should make Kane the running back. They should make him the leader of the offense because he's the best player on the team, and let Mike go wild, Mike McDaniel, because he relies on the shitty half-ass quarterback who can barely get the job done. Barely get the job done, guys. When he throws a deep pass to Waddle for 60 yards, and Waddle's wide open, and it's great. But that doesn't always happen, unfortunately. Most of the time, he throws to the other team. So we'll see what happens. But my beloved Dolphins, this week, I'll get into it more. This week they have the Steelers on Monday night. Ugh. I hope they beat up Aaron Rodgers, but they're in Pittsburgh. I'm not really seeing that one happening. Tua blows in weather below 50 degrees, and of course it's going to be under 50 in Pittsburgh this weekend, especially at night. Oh God, that wind off the water. Forget about it, kids. Then they go to oh fuck it, I'll get into it later. It doesn't look, even if the Dolphins win everything for the rest of the season, there's no guarantee for my Dolphins to do anything but fire everybody. Speaking of firing everybody, the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday traveled to Tampa Bay. First place Tampa Bay gave up a loss to last place Saints this past weekend. Don't ask me how it happened. Baker Mayfield makes a ton of mistakes. He throws the ball away constantly. He tries to make a play out of nothing. And dude, you're not Joe Montana. You're not Dan Marino, dude. But either way, Atlanta's been like crash, crumbling all season. Why Byron Robinson still like leads the way as a running back and especially on my fantasy team. He scores like a ton of points every week. Byron is not the entire team, and I would pick Tampa this week, even though Tampa makes a ton of mistakes. They're at home and they need to win. Another team that's just gonna that's just trash is the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry, any Browns fans out there. It's abysmal as it always is. They're traveling to Chicago, who really got their head out of their asses throughout the course of the season, and they found themselves, I believe, atop the seeding. So I think they're the number 1 seed, if you will, in the NFC, which is mind-boggling because I didn't think Caleb Williams was that good. He's definitely Caleb Williams is all right. He's serviceable. He's good. And Swift is doing a hell of a job on the ground. So Chicago's going to kick the shit out of Cleveland this week. And I have my beep, so I know my people are coming on. So I'm going to make this kind of quick. Cincinnati, who had Buffalo Bills locked up there facing the Baltimore Ravens. Guys, this is like the loser bowl of the week. Both teams, I think, are just about out of the playoffs. Joe Burrow gave up a pick 6 to the Buffalo Bills, and then he gave up another interception, which cost them the entire game. They had the whole thing wrapped up. They had beat the Bills. They could have gone into and they fucked everything up, guys. Baltimore comes to town. Both of them suck. Both of them have nothing going on. I'd say Baltimore. The LA Chargers, who really showed up against the Philly Eagles the other night, traveled to Kansas City, who for the first time in like 9 years are not going to win their division and the AFC. And screw you, Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. It's time to retire and go home to Taylor Swift and cry your tears, and she can make more albums and all that good pretty shit. She is a lovely artist, but there's no room for it in the NFL, and you can take that and pack that bag up and go home because your season's just about over. So the Chargers are going to go to town in Kansas City and beat up Patrick Mahomes and Kermit the Frog a little bit more. The Buffalo Bills travel to New England. Like I said, depending on what the point spread is, I might lean Buffalo, but I'm leaning New England. If it's a money line, if it's a win or lose, guys, it's going to be the Patriots. The Bills, other than Josh Allen's 40-yard run, he's dangerous if he gets in the open like that. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if the right Bills team is gonna show up in New England this week. If the right Bills team shows up, they could win. If they don't show, if the same Bills team shows up that's been showing up each and every week, sorry, Harry, they might lose. Another team that will probably lose, the Washington Commanders. They've had a shit season. Jalen Daniels been their star quarterback. They went from like the NFC Championship game last year to like fucking like 3 wins. Jalen Daniels sucks. He's been hurt all year. They traveled to the New Jersey Giants to face Jackson Dart. Their quarterback still has a little moxie. He could show up. He could get things moving. The Giants are going to be much more dangerous next season when they have Neighbors back and Scatterboo, the really dumb. I don't know. He looks dumb. He's probably not dumb, but he's like that old school like okay coach go in type of dumb. He's a hell of a running back though. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but in this game I would pick the Giants to still hold through and beat up on the Commanders. Another team that gets beat up regularly is the Las Vegas Raiders. They play indoors. They play out in the desert. They travel to Philadelphia to play outdoors, not in the desert, but in the cold climate of the northern eastern seaboard. The Eagles took a tough loss last night against the Chargers. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to even come close to losing. This is the Raiders. The Raiders suck. Geno Smith can't do anything. Pick the Eagles. Another team you could definitely pick this week. The New Jersey Jets, not them. Don't pick them to do anything but lose. They're traveling to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are playing a little bit better football these days. Lawrence Taylor. What's his name? Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He looked a little bit better last 2 weeks. Etienne has been running the poop out of the ball. They've been getting good air. They've been getting really good defense. And they're playing the Jets, who aren't playing anybody but themselves this year. So pick the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that's like on fire defense, and their offense is starting to come alive. The Houston Texans. There you go, Kim. They host the Arizona, not Kim, my stepsister, Kim, the other Kim. They host the Arizona Cardinals, and their starting quarterback is down and out for the season. They've been starting Jacoby Brissett, one time third stringer here in New England. He sucks. He doesn't belong starting a quarterback in the NFL. Pick Houston all day and twice on Sunday at 1 p.m. Green Bay Packers. This is probably the game of the week here. The Green Bay Packers travel to the Denver Broncos. This is a one-time Super Bowl matchup where John Elway led the Broncos to victory over the Packers. I'm not sure that's going to happen this week, although it's going to be a good game. Bo Nix, Denver defense, Green Bay offense, Micah Parsons, I don't know. Cold weather, mile high, who cares? We play in Green Bay anyway. Oh God, I'm gonna say go. I don't like the Packers, but I'm gonna say go Pack. Go Pack, go. They might beat the Broncos. Well, I want the Broncos to win because I don't want the Patriots to have that first seed. Anyway, I digress. Detroit, the next game. This is going to be another good game. Detroit, who's on the outside right now, looking in. They're on the bubble. They've lost some really important games this year, boys and girls, and they're traveling to the number 2 seed, LA Rams, who are doing everything right. Matt Stafford is probably the only second to TFB, the only 43-year-old quarterback in line for an MVP right now. They're playing magic. I expect the LA Rams to go quite far in the playoffs, and I also expect them to win against Detroit on Sunday. The Carolina Panthers takes a improved team, a team that I would have in the beginning of the season I would have called them poop, and they traveled to New Orleans to have a good time and beat up on the Saints like everybody except the Buccaneers do. So Carolina all day. Tennessee is they won last week, but they played Cleveland. So let's be honest. They're traveling to San Francisco, who is a much better team than Cleveland, and will beat up on the Titans like everybody else has. The Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, boys and girls. Let me show you a fun fact about the Indianapolis Colts. So they lost their Richardson. They lost their starting quarterback beginning of the season. Then they had Danny Jones from the Giants, who was garbage. It's like all these quarterbacks who come from New York teams or New York wannabe teams that are in New Jersey who still call themselves New York teams. They come on and they're fire afterwards. I don't know, not Geno Smith, but this guy here, Danny Jones. He looked like who is this guy? Where does he come from? And then Danny Jones had a big ACL tear, went down and out. I feel bad for Danny Jones, but today they picked up Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers has not played in the NFL in 5 years. He's been retired for 5 years. He last made his start for the Indianapolis Colts and took them to the playoffs. Kind of looks like Joe Biden there if you look really quick. But he is making his first start in 5 years. They call the guy up who hasn't been doing it. Hey, like, dude, what are you doing? I'm coaching high school football, and I got this deal going on tires at the tire shop. I don't know if you want to coach the Colts? You want to play for the Colts, dude? Like for the rest of the season? I don't know how that conversation goes. Maybe he's really excited to be getting a second chance at 44 years old, but Phil, you're not Tom. I don't think you could, unfortunately, do it like Tom. It's nauseates me to have to admit stuff like that. Who that? I don't know who you're talking about, Jay. If you could go ahead and whatever. Repeat that. I don't know. Anyway, who I'm referring to. Anyway, I digress. So Indianapolis Colts, the son and old man, they're going to Seattle. Seattle's a really good football team. I do not think Ole Olsen is going to take game one after 5 years of sitting on the couch and come back and beat the Seahawks. Pick the Seahawks. Minnesota, who kicked the shit out of I forgot who they beat. They beat them like 31-0. They go into Dallas. Dallas puts up a lot of points because their offense can score a lot of points. They have CeeDee Lamb, they have Dak. Here we go, Prescott. But their defense is atrocious and allows for so many more points to be scored against them. I would take Minnesota all day. JJ is looking much better than he did early this season. And the Dallas Cowboys are, in fact, just the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, Mark. And Monday night should be special as my Dolphins, oh, God help me, traveled to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not a great team, either one of them. Aaron Rodgers is a whole ton better than Tua. Pains me to say that because I think he's a douche. But, man, I digress. I'm gonna say like Miami keeps going, but if you're betting any money, don't bet on the Dolphins to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Use your head, kids. Make the right choice, but go fins up. So those are my picks for the week, boys and girls. We talked about baseball briefly, and Notre Dame wasn't selected into the national championship. Garbage, bullshit. Although we did lose 2 games to like no-name teams, so. Whatever, like the Boston Red Sox, boys and girls, as always next season. All right, so I'm going to flip the switch and welcome my co-host, the lovely and talented Jai. Jai, how you doing this evening, dear? Oh, Jai, I don't see you, Jai. Jai, I'm going to bounce you out and you can come back in when you're ready. Is she moving? Oh, she's moving. Hold on. Oh, I see you. I see, Jai, I see something. I see your face. Hello? Okay. All right. When I see her face moving a little bit more, I'll have her come back on. I gotta grab my intro piece. Actually, I don't. Yeah. No, I don't really need an intro piece. Tonight's guest, she's an old friend. Podcasted with this woman on and off over the years. She's authored a few books, and when we started talking one day about different experiences. Hold on, Jai's moving. Jai, you there? No, still not there. And turns out that I had a story that could relate to things that she was writing about. I'm like, oh, huh. So I shared with her my story, and she put it in her most recent book. She's the author of. She's an author. She's a paranormal investigator with. I had a whole thing prepared. I'm sure I did. But this is Buddy, who's never prepared for anything except to drink good beer and have a slow internet connection. But I'm doing only one of the two tonight. So hold on. Here's my intro. No, that's not my intro. That's my face on the screen, Buddy. Give Buddy a second. Buddy digresses a little bit here. This week on the Ghost and the Goat. Okay. Here we go. I welcome paranormal investigator and all-around author and all-around sweetheart to discuss her new book, It's Not Goodbye 2, with a special look at the chapter entitled Heather. If you know me, you know probably what this entails, but I'll hold on. I see Jai moving again. Hold on, one more time. Jai, you there? I don't see her. Okay, she'll be with us when she's with us. Please welcome to the show, Sin Trader Hill. Sin, hi, how you doing, dear?
You're cracking me up. This is great.
I hate the internet. I've had issues with the internet. Jai's had issues with the internet. I want to like hammer my computer sometimes and just.
I know. Me too.
It's working. Knock on wood. It's working okay right now, so I'm gonna roll with it. So what's going on with you? Why don't you introduce yourself and what you do in your books and how you study your books and stuff, and we'll get into questions in a minute.
All right. So Sin Schrader Hill, author. I've got 7 books currently on Amazon, self-published and self-edited and all that good stuff. Working on number 8, 9, and 10 right now. Let's see. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on all the things, but my books are on Amazon, so go check them out. Also, founder of Elk Valley Paranormal down here in Tennessee. There you go.
Nice. How long have you been an investigator of the paranormal?
Just since 2013, so not very long at all.
Okay. And what drew you in? Was it childhood experiences? Was it adult experience? What was your draw?
Both. I just didn't know how to get involved in, I was seeing all the shows on TV, and you and I both know that the shows aren't really.
Oh my God, that's so not realistic. Right. If you're trying to go on a ghost hunt because you saw something on Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters is a great show. Those guys are awesome. They're all from Rhode Island. I know most of it. It's not realistic, boys and girls. That's not. We're not able to cover evidence, first of all, in that short span. That's crazy on top of it. But anyway.
And that's what we expect. That's what the clients want.
Oh God, no. I was like, how long do you think you're done until you know? Maybe 4 months. I'm gonna try and cover this as quickly as possible. But oh my God, it can be like such a daunting, monotonous, like watching. Like I had a client call me and I reached out to me and I investigated for her about 11 years ago, and she had stuff kicking back up again. So I was supposed to meet mediums out there, and shit, shit happens. People have emergency and they can't. So I end up there. So I'm in there talking to her, and oh shit. I'm sorry. I forgot.
I hate doing that.
I had a brain fart.
I do it all the time.
I just had a brain fart. I'm sorry. I forgot where I was going with this. I met her. I don't know where the hell I was going. Anyway, it was yeah.
She probably wanted it right now.
She did. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, she wanted to know when we originally investigated how soon we'd be able to, like, instantly. I'm like, well, we had these are the days where we had like 4 wired cameras. We ran cameras for 36 hours. The biggest mistake of my investigative career. Because then we had to review 4 36-hour each. Yeah. Oh my God, that was horrifying. And then audio, and then all the photographs to take, and then all the experiences, notes, and you compare this audio with that. There's a lot to go into it. And believe it or not, lady, I have a job that I have to go to every day.
I know.
I have this other thing called like life and school and all this other shit that I'm like. So your time, I get to put maybe a couple hours into your effort per week, and then I have all these other team members that are doing the same thing, and we can only meet so often. This doesn't happen in a hotel room the night after the investigation, and when we're done by the morning and we have all the answers. That's
Oh,
never ever the total disclosure, folks. That is never the case.
no, we go outside and we have a quick powwow and we got your case. We got it. We come
I
right
got
back
it.
in and tell you.
The
No.
demons, the demons are here. You need to give me $1,000 and I can save you. But that's it. Yeah, you're right. It's
Right,
horrible. There's
right.
horrible
Mhm.
people out there doing awful things.
There are. There really are.
Always like I don't know. I say always check the reviews of it. Not that you really could, but I don't
Right.
have reviews on my. I don't know. That's stupid, buddy. But anyway, yeah, don't trust assholes to come into your house and
No,
take all your money.
if you can get word of mouth,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of testimony and get more than one, then that's a good thing. The
yeah,
more
for
you
sure,
can learn about the group that you've got coming in, the better it is.
for sure. Okay, so when did you start authoring? Was it before your delve into the paranormal or before?
It was after I actually started
Hmm.
editing for Mark Elliott Foltz. He's my buddy,
Yep.
and he's the one that does the covers for my books and the illustrations, and
Oh,
he's
that's
got
cool.
several books too.
Hmm.
And we formed our little publishing company together.
Oh, that's
But
good.
I was editing for him, and about the second one I was working on, he said, "When are you going to pull yours out? You need to write your book." And I said, "I." He said, "It's time." I
Right.
hadn't even told him, but again, he's a psychic, so I
Oh
guess
yeah, they kind of know that shit sometimes.
right.
Sometimes they like know shit that. Sometimes they know shit that you didn't expect them to know, like ever. More on that soon. But oh my god,
Yes,
they
yes.
really holy shit catch you by surprise sometimes.
Mm. He
But
finally
and now
told
you're
me.
10 books deep, right? Or you're
Well,
almost 10 books
yeah,
deep.
I can't tell you how many I got in my head.
Hmm.
There's several more in the head, but I'm working on just about got number 8 done,
Yep.
and 9 is over halfway, and 10 is the research phase. So
Mm. Okay,
I
so
really
they're all nonfiction. They're all based on
right.
the oh,
The
they're all based on like experiences and
yeah,
people's
yeah,
stories. That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
So
This
now the one book that we pulled up tonight that we want to talk about, of course, this book here, it's not goodbye to more science from beyond. Sin Trader Hill, lovely lady. Um, oh, I can hear you now. Good, thank you, Aaron. Um, I'm sorry, I'm talking to somebody off stage. Um, when did you publish that? When did you start your efforts with that?
that one actually started as soon as I brought the first science book out.
Oh
I
yeah, really.
Yeah,
What's
I
the
mean,
what's the first science book? What's that one about? I think we spoke of this in a
yeah,
previous show, but
it's same. It's the
yep.
same, but it's also got near-death experiences in it as well.
Oh shit, huh?
And so this time, when people started coming up to me going, "I have a story for you. I
Yep.
had a sign from my mother. I had this kind of thing." So I'm thinking, I need to bring a second one out.
Oh, for sure.
So I
Everybody
started it up. Yeah,
everybody has a ghost story. Everybody has a
everybody,
ghost.
everybody, even
Incredible.
the non-believers have
Right, for
one.
sure. Well, this happened, and I'm not really sure, dude.
Yeah,
What do you if you're talking to me about it, then I think that you kind of believe that it might be a ghost if you're suggesting this to me, dude. But
right. But they don't
yeah.
want to say that. They
No, of
don't want to
course
say
not, because that ties in. Like I have a friend who's an atheist, and he's had experiences with Heather, after her passing, and he's relayed them to me. But then he can't like connect spirit because spirit is afterlife, and afterlife is religion, and
yeah,
religion is no, which I get it, and I respect that because I'm not about religion myself. But spirit, I think it's different. I think it's I don't know. I don't think I think you can disconnect spirits from like religion and it not be the same and not have the same
yeah, yeah.
whatever.
I think now we got to disconnect just about everything from everything.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
let's just go topic by topic right now.
For sure. For
Let's
sure.
It's just too crazy.
Mhm.
But this I was getting more near death experiences this time.
Yep.
So I separated those
Mhm.
and brought out Death's Doorstep in
Yep.
July
Yep.
and then the Signs book in October.
That's awesome. Now, before I've been into the paranormal, I guess, for about 20 years, give or take, or so. From experiences and I started doing it, yada yada. I'd never like really put much credential into near death. I never really met anybody who like just show me, just tell me, just tell me your experience. I'd love to hear, but I never heard. And then me and Dum Dum interviewed that one guy. He was an author. Um, and he really like touched me. His story was like really like powerful. He died on the side of a mountain.
Oh, wow.
Him and his friend were like hiking, and they got stuck up on this mountain, and the snow came, and I think he like froze to death, honestly, and he died for X amount of time, and then they got rescued, and he was brought back to life. He didn't have any brain damage, luckily, but I mean,
Wow.
he had such like a his story was like just grabbed you, you know. It's like holy
Mhm.
shit, the
Mhm.
emotion behind it, and like the vivid details, and like all the shit that you hear from like psychics and mediums and stuff that like you know that you believe in stuff. It's like all similar sounding, like heaven and whatnot. No religious connotations, just like
Right.
the
Right.
afterlife. So after hearing this guy's story, I wish I could remember his name so because I would rebook him in a second. But it's just I think we had him on 2 different shows, and he had a few different books, but just like an amazing story, you know.
And,
So
the ones I've gotten they're all different. It's just phenomenal, the things
hmm
that they can tell you. Some of them have seen some bad things, and it
yeah,
comes back and makes them be a better person.
hmm
Um, and that's a good thing.
yeah,
But for the most part, you hear about a tunnel and
yeah,
light
yep.
and love all around you. Nothing but love. And
Like family members are always thrown in, but then again, I've heard like from living family or in that last stage of life that they were seeing family members in those stages. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever heard anything about that?
a little bit of everything. Yes.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I, and I tell you too, the angel rescues are really close.
yeah,
They're the ones that they should have died, but
hmm
they're here by the grace of God, whoever you think
whoever
is.
you want to believe in,
Yeah,
right? Right.
exactly. But amazing stories, simply amazing. And I'm just blessed that people actually tell me these stories.
hmm So some of these fantastic stories made it into your second book. One of the stories. I had the absolute privilege of telling you. I've told it's. I mean, there's so many things I like honestly that I left out just because I can't remember them all because there's been like
Yeah.
hundreds of things, even little tiny things that have happened, or like um people like say things like what did you say? What was that? And they like know things that like they shouldn't know, or
Right.
they wouldn't know. And it's like you sound like my wife, but she's like been dead for 2 years, you know. So it's like these weird little stories, and they didn't like not all of them happened to me. Some of them happened to like good friends of hers. Her stepsister, who I advertised in the beginning of the show, she does Kim's Baked Goods. She does baked infused marijuana treats. Available on Kim's Baked Goods on Facebook. Anyway, she's had stories herself. Where she's making Heather's fudge and
Oh,
this like the song by 311. Oh God, Amber. So that was Heather's ringtone for Kim on her phone. That came on the radio, and she felt like somebody touched her neck with a finger, you know. So she had, the little things like that, or her son Ethan, who was like a little guy, just now he's a big guy now, but he was a little guy. He said he was riding in the car, and he was riding in the passenger side, and he Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd was on the radio. Heather was a big Pink Floyd, and he's like, I could smell Heather, and then I listened to the radio. It's like her smell was like in the car, and I just thought of her, and then the moment was over in a second. But just those little tiny experiences, or like I never dream. I never have dreams because I have sleep apnea, so I probably don't even get to that phase of sleep. But when I do, I've had some like whoa fucking dreams where she is clear as day talking to me, like so proud of you, doing so great with this. Da, 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 you're gonna keep fucking. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. Like I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, you know. Or just like little things. Like the first sign that I could tell you that I experienced. It was so Heather passed away on a Monday. We had the services the following week and stuff, and it was like the following Tuesday, and I was like, there was a bunch of shit in my father's truck, and I was unloading them onto in my parents' house, and I was like loading them onto the stairway, turning and then turning back to the walkway, and as I'm turning to the stairway to put some boxes on the top stairs, I hear in my ear, buddy, um, clear as day, no mistake. That happened to me another 3 times while I was at work. when it was quiet. It was early in the morning, and I was on the unit before anybody else, and it was still kind of my buddy right in my ear a few times. I don't know if that was Heather at
Amazing.
Bridgewater State Hospital. It might have been. But the first time I was like, holy shit, I was like, whoa. I was at the girl I'm going to bring on in a few minutes. I was at her house, who was one of Heather's best friends, one of her sisters. Um, and she had a this was on her old house on Michelle Drive. She had like this hole, it's not a hole, but I mean it's a hole between the kitchen wall and the dining room, right? It's like an octagon shape. She had a slate of granite there. This is the first week of June, so sometimes I try to explain this away in my head, but then again I remember like playing with it at the time, so I had a beer, right? Like I have here. Obviously, I had a beer. That's not an uncommon thing. And I had a glass. It wasn't one of these glasses, though, like a tulip glass. It was in a frosty glass because Costas her husband likes to frost his glasses, which you're not supposed to with craft beer. I told him that, and then he claims he doesn't do it. But anyway, I digress. So I had the beer can sitting on the slate on the ground, like at the granite counter. And I'm talking to her and her daughter Zoe on the other side, and the can slid like 6 inches. We were talking about Heather, and it just like on its own. I'm like, holy fuck. At first, I'm thinking, oh, buddy, it's condensation. It says snap. There's no condensation in the can. There's condensation on the bottom of the glass because it was a frozen glass, but there was no condensation on the can. And there was no like water underneath the can. And I'm like, and we chalked it up to Heather, but it was probably Heather. I don't know. That'd be my guess.
Right.
Especially like that was like Christ, like 2 weeks after she died.
Wow. And see,
Yep.
you being a paranormal investigator, you immediately check for condensation and all
I
that.
check
Good
for
stuff.
all the obvious.
Yeah.
I always do, but yeah, she always gets me with like little shit like that. Or like there'll be times like this has happened like 4 or 5 times. I'll be driving in like a mess, like lose my shit, like just having a moment, just having a day or a week, whatever. I'm like, Heather, I talk to her all the time. I'm like, Heather, just give me something, give me a sign, give me something. Fuck. I'm dying here. What the fuck, right? And one big thing with us was always dimes. So I had a little bit of a long story. Before this, before Heather passed away, I had a cousin who died. And this medium that I saw, she told me that he was going to start leaving me dimes to get my attention. And from that point on, I found like single dimes in like obvious locations for years. The last 10 boxes that we moved from the house that Heather and I lived in, we moved to an apartment in the Pawtucket. And the last 10 boxes we moved out, each one had one single dime in each one. So Heather always had that connection with dimes. She would always say, hey, Chris, thanks. I found the dime, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And when she passed away, the dimes continued in the most obvious, opening my car door, going to like get out, right in front of me, a dime, getting out of bed in the morning, bam, there's a dime right as soon as I step out. Walking to the bathroom, bam, there's a dime right on the floor in front. Just a dime, not dimes and pennies, not a nickel, always just one dime. So, like little things like that you really, I guess you could explain, but you really, I can't really.
Because you know that they weren't there the last time you were in that spot or, whatever. It's just,
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then you have like really like poignant signs. So I got involved with a medium. His name was Roland Comtois. I was involved with him before Heather passed away. We had a series of fundraiser charities for the Varna Memorial Armory. He'd come in, do like a gallery reading for 200 people. Heather was there. Heather is actually on this guy's website. It shows a gallery full of people, like probably 200 people, and Heather's sitting right there in the chair, right there at the bottom of the photo, which is weird. But so this one's dated 7/23/2019. Heather passed away 5/27, we'll say 2019. Says, guess what? Underlined. I saw ghosts when I was in the hospital, or should I say shadows. It was hysterical. It was so crazy. I need to keep sending messages to my quote unquote guy. Well, he needs them. How is the dog? We had a dog named Sophie. She passed away 3 years ago in September. It was like our dog together. How's it? Heaven is for real, and I don't mean like the movies. BT Dubs. I did not have any pain when I left. So they're these big purple papers. He carries them around sometimes for years. And then he'll do a reading or he'll do something and he'll meet somebody. I'm like, hey, he's like, hey, I think this paper is for you. And it's a lot of the time, it's like, holy shit.
Wow.
Like holy shit in particular.
Yeah.
This one dated July 15th, 2022. I think this is the last one that I got personally. My mother has gotten some since then. But this is more significant to like our stories tonight. Heather has been trying to send you quote unquote new signs. I had lived a great life. Now you must live yours. I love you all, underlined, so much. I know you were all in shock. I know you all did your best. I know you honor me every day, and we do, of course. Trying to find new signs, new ways to connect with us. Shortly after that, oh no, this is the first one. So this is dated 6/28/2019. So I don't know if you can see this, but you probably can't. That's because of the way it's. So there's little stick figures, and it's probably gonna be
Right.
blurry. And there's a square in the middle, and there's a stick figure in the bed, in the middle of the square. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like 14 stick figures. There was easily like 27 people in that hallway, but I do believe there was about 14 people in that room. So just like little things like that where they know how many people were in the room when she died. They know her last words to me that only her and I knew. They
Mhm.
know like little fucking things that we told each other.
Right.
Like how the hell are you gonna know that? So I
Right.
was most recently I did an investigation with a very good medium that I've worked with several. She's awesome. She's been on the show a number of times. Kristina Marie. Yes, and two other guys. The one's does podcasts, and the other one does like urban explorations. We went out to this like King Philip's War battle site. We did a bunch of stuff there, and then we went back to this guy's. This guy who does the podcast. He does like a news, almost like a news like sub series. So he does all these like different news stories. So he did like ghost hunting and mediumship and all that. He did it at this spot, and he did like a spot on it, and he's interviewing us, and he asked me this question. He's like, buddy, as a paranormal investigator, let me ask you. It's like, have you ever gotten signs from any loved ones that have passed? I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like, have you like been stalking my Facebook or something? He's like, no. It's just something I thought I would ask, something a question of interest. I'm like, it's funny you ask that because all the signs that I've ever gotten from Heather, tons of them. The one sign that we discussed while she was alive, I've never heard once. So Heather would constantly talk to me about, when I pass away, Heather, don't fucking talk about it. No,
Right.
listen, buddy, this is important. When I die, I want you to not fucking like live a hermit life. No, Heather, I'm gonna be a hermit. I'm gonna live in a cabin in the woods. I'm gonna have the same dog with the same name for the rest of my life. No, bullshit. So you're gonna remarry. You're gonna, go back to school. You're gonna do all these. You're gonna get a great job. Blah blah blah. You're gonna have a great life. She's like, we need a sign though, so I can communicate to you, right? And so I never told anybody this ever. So my wife and I were giant Family Guy fans, like from season 1 when they got canceled and they were on like Adult Swim. Anyway, and they came back on. And now they're like great, and they're from Rhode Island and all that Rhode Island pride and laughter. And they have this one song from one of the episodes. It's familiar. I sing it all the time now because it's we drink peanut butter and jelly sour beers, but it's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. That's the line from Family Guy that we were going to use to tell each other that we were okay. Now, I never told anybody that, so I told this kid that. And right as I'm saying it, the medium sitting next to me is like, "Oh my god!" Like, what's going on? And she's like, every time I go with you to do something like haunted-y, she comes out to me with these houses. I've taken her to like haunted places and seen if she knows where we are, or like done experiments, or she's come on with me on investigations. Like every single time before I leave the house or when I'm on my way, that's all I hear in my head is it's peanut butter jelly time. What the fuck? How would you know? Like, so like stuff like
What?
that. It's just recent and it happens regularly. Just continues to just like I think it will happen until the day I die, honestly. But it happens regularly and upon request. So there'll be, like I said, there'll be times where I need something and I'll get like a dime, or like a friend will call me up and it's like, dude, what's happening? I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, I got this sign from Heather. Oh, you don't say. and they'll share me like this dream of this story that they had. And then another friend will like hit me up and be like, "Hey, I got this picture on my phone from Heather." And there's more about that in a minute. I got this picture on my phone from Heather. Like, oh shit, huh? You don't say. It's like that's exactly what I needed. So it's like her using whatever medium that she can use to come through to us. So I'm gonna bring on a friend of hers who has some stories to share. I have one of her one of her one of her pieces here, and she'll tell you a story, and then I have some more stories. So please welcome to the show. She's been on for mediums before. She's a lovely lady, and her husband is my beer drinking co-host. Please welcome to the show, Erin Sangaruli with a T. Erin, welcome to the show, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good, wonderful. Erin, why don't you start as early back as you can remember, whatever signs you remember. Is it all the phone? Are there other ones? Go ahead.
I mean, it was pretty, for me, pretty much it's the phone. Like I'll just be whatever, and I'll look down and it'll be, oh, all of a sudden this is your memory that's on your screen, and it's Heather or your phone video.
It's this. This is on Christmas Day, I believe, probably last year. And it just pops up on our screen randomly, a photograph of Heather.
And always random.
But usually when you need it too.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. This was on Christmas Day, but like there's been other times where I've asked for it and she calls me up like 2 days like, "Hey buddy, guess what?" And she sends me this picture. I'm like, "Oh, hey, no shit, look at that." So that's kind of cool.
Now, Erin, are you the one that had the text messages show up?
No.
Okay.
No, that's Melissa. She wasn't available this evening.
Okay.
But
so Erin has these they just show up randomly.
It's amazing.
It's just Heather on her phone. It's just
beer can moved on the counter.
Yeah, you remember that, right? It's kind of slid across on Michelle Drive. That was weird. I mean, yeah, maybe condensate, maybe, but I didn't think so in the moment. I don't think so now, but it was 6 years ago. So
shows with Roland.
Yes, the Roland so I had an event with this guy Roland with the Purple Papers where we did an event at the old King County Jail. Another fundraising event, much smaller space. I think I sold like 55 tickets to the event. Out of those 55, I had 15 people that were going because they wanted to connect with Heather. And before I left that night, I'm like, I had a ton of tickets. We sold out. But there's 15 of Heather's friends and family and people we know that are going there specifically to have an event to have some kind of something from Heather. And they're all sitting, they all spread apart in this room, and I was off to the side, kind of like running shit. And he's like, "Oh, don't think you're gonna get out of this." He's like, "Oh, you're gonna do stuff." He tells me stuff too, but he went around to all 15 of these people, and like had a story for almost everybody, or talked to almost everybody. I think he grabbed Erin after the event and talked to her and her daughter afterwards, and it was just like, and he's up there. He's like, he's talking like he's heard. He's like, and there are 15 people here to see me. And they're like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like I said that to one person 2 hours ago, and you weren't there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
incredible.
just like shit like that. Just it never stops. Never stops amazing me, this stuff. The girl with the text messages. She's not. She is. She's a believer. I think she's a believer because of this, but she's not a believer overall in the paranormal, I believe. And she texted me one night. She messaged me one night. She's like, "Buddy, the weirdest thing happened." I'm like, "Well, what's that, Melissa?" She's like, "I'm sitting I'm waiting for my daughter. She's in the gymnastics studio. I'm sitting outside in my car, and a message from Heather comes up on the radio and she's like, Heather." She's like, "The only Heather." She's like, "I swore I must have had another Heather on there." It's like my only contact in the whole phone was my Heather, and there was no message. It was just said message from Heather on the screen, but there was no message in the text. That happened like 3 or 4 times over the course of about a year and a half. And then the last time she heard it, the last time she got a message, it was an actual message, a message from Heather. She opened it up. She's like, "Hey, I had pizza the other day. It was better than Twins." Twins Pizza is where we met, but it's also the place where she met Heather when they were like 15, 16 years old working at a pizza joint. So, and again, that phone is long gone. That phone is destroyed. That number is long gone. Maybe they texted her random. But what are the fucking odds of
Right.
some random, random, just
And to
texting the
get it
right person
to get it that close.
to get it that close to work at like, hey, Mos, I had pizza at Twins. It was or it was better than Twins. Like,
Right.
no, I don't.
Too much of a coincidence. That's too
incredible. That's like winning the lottery coincidence. That's like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that could physically. I mean, it could happen, I guess, but
maybe
the odds are so. Oh my god, so impossible. I think impossible. But yeah, so that's the last one you heard, and that one started. Those started right after the ones like I'm gonna be. I found new science to show you guys in 2022. Right after that, she started getting messages like that. So can't help to think that that's what Heather was talking about. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, she's known like I moved into my parents' house. I moved into the basement. I made an apartment downstairs. I painted the room like a purplish gray hue. I went with purplish gray because purple was her favorite color. So it's almost like my own tribute. And a medium told me about that and told me how thrilled that Heather was that I did that for her. Like, how the fuck would you know that, dude? I didn't tell anybody that. And you are telling me this. Like, I told you or something when it happened. And it didn't. It's like so mind-blowing, so inexplicable.
Mm-hmm.
The most intimate things between two people that are never shared are coming from this absolute stranger. Who doesn't know me picked me out of the middle of the room, came right up to me and told me like intimate details about my dead wife and our relationship. That's no coincidence. I'm sorry. That's not cold reading or any of these these weird things that people accuse psychics of. I mean, I get it. There's fakes, there's phonies out there like everybody else, but every other field. But yeah, they're not. You could like troll Facebook for years and not find out this shit about me, So. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
And the thing about your story is that it just is ever growing.
It keeps going. Yeah.
It's just not stopping. And honestly, your story is the most active story to this day that I've heard.
Yep.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. Incredible. Other stories. I don't know if it's included from the book, but my friend Jeff, who was going to come on tonight, we originally were going to book in October, but this girl below us, she had like something out of the country or something. She was going to see a Taylor Swift show somewhere, and we rescheduled till tonight. No big deal. But Jeff was not available tonight. He's in Washington D.C. He's dining with a general this evening. Cheers, dude. So he's one of my closest and dearest friends. Heather had this knack when she was alive. She inserted herself into people's families, into their cores, and like just out of love, not because she was sneaky or trying to like do anything, nefarious. But she would like insert herself, and she was like a member of everybody's family. And she did this with the Aherns very well, who had like new kids, and she used to like bake the birthday cakes or like help people plan their kids' parties. I'm sure Aaron could attest to that. She was very involved in people's lives. So that both Jeff and his wife looked at Heather as like an older sibling, and when she passed away, of course, like everybody else, they were devastated. But so that weekend, she had her emergency. You could say I think she died on Saturday in the apartment. She had a pulmonary embolism. She was unconscious for over 45 minutes. They got her to the hospital. They got her heart going. I don't know how. I think it was honestly her because she wanted her mother to be there. And her mother lives in South Carolina. But anyway, it happened on Saturday. We went to the hospital. We did all that shit. Did all the CAT scans, all the awful stuff you do all weekend. And then Sunday night, I knew Monday was going to be the day and it was going to have to happen, whatever. But Monday happened. Everything was done. My friend Jeff calls me up. He's like, hey, dude, everything all right? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We talk, He's like, I had something to tell you. He's like, you might not, I don't know. I'll tell you. I'm like, all right, what is it? What is it? Everything all right? Yeah, everything's great. He's like, it's not weird. He's like, I just wanted to like explain this to you. So I'm like, all right. So he's like, Saturday we found out what happened. We were devastated. We came down to the hospital, me and the wife. And yeah. I remember seeing you guys. And he's like, we went home. We tried to stay busy with the kids. We were out in the yacht all day. It was Memorial Day weekend, so it was a beautiful, beautiful weekend. We were supposed to hike Mount Wachusett that weekend, and they're out in the yacht playing. They keep seeing this little bird flying over, like dive bombing the kid, not dive bombing, but like flying close around the kids, flying around, tweeting on the fence, around the yacht all weekend. Constantly, this little bird. He's like, dude, Sunday night. He's like, I go to Nicholas is like, oh God, I think he's like 1 year old. He's a little baby boy, right? Little baby chubby Nicholas. He goes, put Nick to bed. He's like, I put him in the crib. I'm sitting there watching. He's like, I hear like a tapping noise. He's like, what the fuck? What is that noise? He's looking around the room. He's looking at like maybe it's the heat or maybe it's this. He looks at the window. He's like, it was still light out. He's like, I saw this little bird like I saw all weekend. He's like, it's tapping on the window. It's tapping on the glass. He's like, I looked at it for a minute and it flew away. It's like about an hour and a half later, I'm putting Connor to bed. And Connor's on the other side of the house. Nicholas is on the back side. Connor's on the front side of the house. And I took him in, read him a story. We have a good talk. Put him to bed. Talk about Auntie Heather. Put him to bed. And he's like, I hear this tap again. He's like, dude, I look at the window and it's the same little bird. I'm like, this bird must be wrong with this bird. It's like it's perching on my kid's thing. He's poking on the windows like hell. And he like shoos it and the bird flies away. So a couple hours later, him and his wife, they talk about the weekend, they talk about Heather and all the shit going on, what's going to happen the next day. And at the time, Jeff was writing a book. He's like a colonel in the military, so he does all this military shit. God bless him. And he's downstairs in the basement, new house. That's like probably like 9-foot ceilings, and he has those little square windows, rectangle windows at the top. And he's like, dude, I'm down there, I'm typing a little bit, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm reflecting, thinking about Heather. Drinking my beer, upset. And he's like, I hear this tapping. He's like, I look all around. He's like, then I look up. He's like, on that little rectangle window, I see this little fucking bird, the same bird, at like 10:30 at night. Tapping, 10:30 at night, tapping on the window. He's like, I looked at it and it flew away. He's like, at that moment, he's like, dude, I think that was Heather. I'm like, all right, that's fair. That's fair venture. Are you upset? No, I'm not upset at all. This is like awesome. For me, good for you. You had an experience. 2 weeks later, I turned 40. It was not a good time to turn 40, but for my 40th birthday, him and my wife had been planning a trip for me to go to this blessed country that I still go to called Lake Umbagog, way up in northern New Hampshire. She was, as she always did, she prepared every meal and packed it up and either froze it or pre-cooked it or gave cooking instructions and had this loving like letter, boys, enjoy your weekend, because she was never allowed to go, and all that good shit. She was a good sport about it, and she did all the prep before. She was going to do all the prep before this one, and then she passed away. So Jeff went and bought hot dogs and hamburgers, like whatever, dude. I don't care. I just need to get away, get some beers, go up to Umbagog, and just have a good time. So a lot of the time I was up there, like it was not great like I normally, because I was very upset and sad or whatever. But it started like probably, so we were out there like from like Thursday to Monday. So it probably started on Friday. I get up early in the morning, wake up first thing at like 5:30 in the morning, grab my pole, go down fishing because the boys are sleeping because they're dads and they get to sleep in. Good for you guys. You got to sleep in, buddies are going to go fishing. And it started one morning. This lake is massive. And one of the big things about this lake is it gets really super foggy in the morning and you can't see like a foot in front of you. So this massive lake and mountains sit behind this like wall of fog. So I'm like casting out this beautiful sunset. I'm being quiet because I'm really excited about the bass. But anyway, I start casting out and I see this butterfly. It comes popping in off the water. It's a butterfly. You're in the middle of nowhere, buddy. Okay, whatever. Comes around, swings around me a few times, goes into the campsite, flies off. I don't really think anything of it. Next day, happens again. Same thing. I'm fishing in the morning. It comes off the lake, floats around me, and floats off. What really gets weird is so that we had Heather cremated, and everybody, people got little pieces of her and stuff, and I got a big old urn, and I requested a small little tiny, it was a necklace, but I got it in a pendant. So I went to Umbagog where there's no power. My best friend brought out his generator. He brought out a granite drill, which is kind of heavy and loud. And we brought it to the site, which is called R16, which overlooks, it's at the northern tip of the lake. It overlooks the western mountains, so you see sunset. It overlooks Sunday Cove to the left, which is the east, and you see the sunrise over Maine. you're like right in Maine, but New Hampshire, you could throw a rock and hit in the water, literally like 100 yards off. Most beautiful spot in the whole lake. So I went there. I went to that site. Thank God there was nobody staying at that site. He let me go. He's like, all right, you do your thing. He helped me unload everything. He's like, I'll be over here. I'll come back in like an hour for you. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, I'm gonna go fish this cove. Go ahead, dude. So I drilled a hole into the granite. I took that little amulet of heather and I emptied it, and then I covered it with granite mortar, and I put an H. He's forever there in that rock. So Jeff comes back, and I sit there and I smoke a joint with my wife's ashes, and my friend Jeff comes back. He's like, he comes and he sits with me and he hangs out. We have a beer and we talk. It's a beautiful spot and a beautiful woman, all that good stuff. And he's like, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you want to go fish? I'm like, yeah. So as we get him, he's like, dude, the weirdest thing happened. Well, you don't say. He's like, so I was out fishing. And he's like, above your head. He's like, did you see it? I'm like, I didn't see anything. He's like, you didn't see any butterflies? I'm like, no, dude, I didn't see any butterflies. Not today, not here. He's like, there was like 50 of them above your head, like all floating around right above that spot you in. They were just kind of like dancing around up there in the sky. I was like, oh, whatever. That's cool, but I didn't see anything. So we started fishing this cove. This cove is about like a mile and a half in and a mile and a half out. It's huge. So we're starting to fish all on the shore. We fish all around the shore. We go all the way down. We're going all the way back out. That whole time, probably about 2 hours, as we're gliding along the shore, casting, this one butterfly is following along the shoreline, all the way down, all the way to the other side of Maine, and all the way back out. This one butterfly, same color, almost appears purple in color, like a monarch, but not orange, more purple, which was I found to be different, especially given the color. So then he's like, wow, that was weird with the butterfly. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. We just did that, and then you saw those butterflies. Then we saw that one butterfly, that whole like hour and a half time of fishing, and then so it's like, all right, that was cool. Blah blah blah. We went back to the site. Had a bunch of beers, fell asleep. So Monday morning comes. So to get to Umbagog, you can take your own boat, which Jeff does from the river across this massive lake. You get across this massive lake in this little boat, or you can take the transport and they drop you off with all your shit. So that's what me and the other guy did, Matt, I believe it was. And then Jeff was going to take his boat and he was going to go upriver, load his boat, load his truck, and then meet us back at base camp at the southern half of the lake. So he took off like an hour before because the weather was getting rough. And Umbagog Lake gets waves like the ocean does, like rocky, huge waves because it's so deep and stuff. It's so massive. So he was shitting his pants the whole way, and he left. He went out to like Pine Point, which is the point, and he crossed the lake at the shortest point at like 2 miles, and he went all the way up the river, like 5 or 6 miles to his truck. So we're sitting there waiting. We pack up all our shit. We're waiting for the transport. I'm probably doing a little bit of this. I'm probably doing a little bit of this. And I'm sitting there fishing. I'm like, let me fish. Let me get a few casts in before the transport comes over. And Matt's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go down here. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be right here. Cast out. I'm sitting there. It's just a clear day. Little clouds and stuff, but I mean it's not foggy or anything. And from like way in the distance, I see it. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that like a dragonfly? What is it? And sure enough, it's just this one butterfly. It comes floating across the lake. It comes right up to me, goes around me 3 times, goes through the campsite, all around the campsite, comes back out and disappears the way it came. I'm like, oh, that was kind of cool. So I didn't think really much of it. I'm like, oh, that was a great experience for me, but a little did I know Jeff had his own experience. So we pack everything up on the transport. We get back to base camp. We load up both the trucks and stuff. Me and Jeff are driving back together. He's like, I'm like, how was the trip, dude? He was like shaking your pants before you left. He's like, oh, it was rough. It was rocky. He's like, I made it though. It was good. He's like, just one thing that was like, was weird. I'm like, what's that, dude? He's like, right after I like left you guys, I'm coming down around the point. I'm coming out to Pine Point, and I noticed right up in the sky, right above my head, is this one butterfly, purple, like the same one that was following us around Sunday Cove the other day. He's like, it followed me all the way to Pine Point. It crossed Umbagog Lake with me, which is, he said, a very wide lake, very deep lake. In a boat. He's like, cruising, and the thing's flying right above his head. He's like, it followed me all the way up the river. It followed me to the boat ramp. It floated around the boat ramp as I was like loading my shit in the truck. And right before I was ready to go, I looked up to say goodbye. It went around me once. He's like, it flew back up the river. And it flew out of sight. Was it Heather? Was it a sign? I think so. For sure. He was wicked anxious about crossing this massive river by himself. She had just passed away. I don't know. Maybe it was just a butterfly. I don't know. But that's those are some of the things that I've experienced and some of the like absolutely amazing stories, amazing experiences that just like I tell everybody as a grieving husband, I absolutely appreciate because whether it's 100% Heather or not, it
Mhm.
100% makes me feel better.
Exactly.
And allows me to know that there is definitely somebody not only waiting for me, but there's something like to make me be good for. I don't know, you know?
And that's the thing. It's what it makes you feel. I've had people ask me about personal signs I've gotten from Wyatt. Wyatt, as you know, is the nephew
Yep.
that I lost.
Right.
And he's only 19 and a half. He's still showing up. Not as much as Heather,
Right.
but he actually showed up on a podcast.
Huh.
He he was in his, of course, house with his mom the night that she was telling me a story. And this was a few months after he had died.
Mhm.
She was telling me the story that is also in the Signs 2 book,
Nice.
the very first couple of chapters. He, whatever happened, I'll let you guys read it if you're listening. But this whole thing was put together so intricately that it
Mhm.
had to be divine intervention. It had to be. Or Wyatt did something. I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know. But it was too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence.
Yep.
So I 2 months later, it took me a while to transcribe this story because these stories hurt. They're
Oh yeah.
so, they're so, oh God. I mean, I miss him every day. Like, buddy,
Right.
like you miss her every
Every
second
day.
of
Yeah. Right.
every day. And
For
and
sure.
it doesn't let up. It just doesn't. Some days are harder than others,
Yeah, for sure.
but you
Sometimes
know,
I go weeks without like
yeah,
having sorrow about it. I'll just like converse with her about my whatever's going on. But
yeah.
other days I can't even like think about it and I just lose my shit completely. Yeah. No, I hear
Yeah,
you.
it's a roller coaster. It's a
Mhm.
roller coaster, but you never stop grieving. You just don't.
Right.
And you just learn to live in that awful new normal
Mhm.
and, get through the day.
For
I don't
sure.
know how my sister still does it, but she's amazing. But she was telling me the story, and so it took me a while to transcribe it. A couple of months later, I was transcribing it, and during the story, 6 minutes and 42 seconds in, Wyatt spoke. That was my sign from my
Mhm.
nephew because I work on electronic voice phenomenon.
Oh
I
yeah,
am
there you go.
a EVP girl. And
Yep.
so he left me that voice. He had heard my co-founder say so many times, if you're here and you can talk to us, please get as close as you can to this red dot. Talk
Yep.
as loudly as you can, and hopefully we'll be able to hear you later. And he did that.
For
It's
sure.
just like he was right there with us.
Mhm.
I have told that story so many times
Mhm.
that this one particular podcaster a few months back said, I heard your story and I really want you to repeat that story. And if you would you play that EVP? And I said, absolutely.
Mhm.
And so I did. Little did we know Wyatt showed up.
Wow.
And he sent me a clip that Wyatt actually spoke his voice and or spoke his name.
Yep.
He said something first and then he spoke his name. And I said to the guy, oh my God, I'm going to give you Wyatt's number because we still have that phone. And it's, we still have it hooked up. It's just, we can't not right now.
Mhm. For sure.
Um, so, because this was just 2022, we can't not let go.
He
But
passed away in 2022. Oh
mhm,
wow, it hasn't been
yeah,
that long at all. God,
no,
I feel like
no,
I've known you since like that right around that time. That's
yeah, it
wow.
it was it was real close. It was real close, buddy. It was April 6th of 2022,
Oh wow.
and it's just you know we don't
Yeah.
remember it, but
Oh, you never. They're like, oh, time heals all. You're
Yeah,
saying that if you really don't fucking know. You
that's
know,
right. That's
it's one
right.
thing if you're like, you're 80 and you spend like your whole life with somebody. I think it's a little bit different. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I
then
think we're
again, my grandmother lost my grandfather when I was 13, and she did a lot of things as a single older lady that I was like, how could you do that to the memory of my grandfather? Like now as an adult, as somebody who lost a spouse and who went back to the dating world, I couldn't imagine not. I couldn't
right.
like how would I judge my grandmother like that? What an asshole, you know? But I mean,
Well,
I just didn't
yeah,
really understand like the true trauma of losing a loved one like that, somebody that close.
exactly. And that's the thing too. People will judge,
Oh, for sure.
and they have no idea what they're talking about.
No, not at all. They're
None
like, oh, you
whatsoever.
just got to do this, or you just got to do that. Oh yeah, have
Yeah,
you lost a wife? Oh, well, no. Like we've been happily married for like 30 years. Oh yeah, well, give me a call in 25 and we'll talk,
right,
lady.
right.
I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
You just kinda learn to let things just come in one ear, out the other,
you
and
gotta, yeah, you can't take anything. You gotta take everything with a grain of salt. People are
yes,
fucking stupid
yes.
sometimes.
But his voice, he said Wyatt, just like his voicemail, and I
Well,
said,
that's
"You
cool.
gotta call his phone. Call his phone right now, and
Yeah.
I want you to hear that. Let it go to voicemail, of course."
hmm
And he did, and he wrote me back. He said, "Oh my god,
That's
it
the same
was
voice.
that was Wyatt."
Wow.
Now,
Yeah,
let
incredible.
me ask you this as an EVP person. I myself have like played EVPs with people, and like they thought it was like oh, this is my grandmother for sure. This is my, whatever. But they're like, oh, it doesn't sound like them. But they say something really poignant about the. Well, do you think they all come through differently? Do you think they come through as their living voice? Do you think they just come through as we perceive it? What are your thoughts on that?
I guess it depends
hmm
on individual, you know, but Wyatt sounded just like himself on both of the EVPs.
That's cool.
Wow.
That's
Uh,
something. That's
there was
something you
no denying. No, no denying.
right. That's awesome. I was gonna go somewhere else. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking. Go ahead.
Let's
No,
see.
I was gonna. This is where I was gonna go. So I had a guest on. I had him on twice last year. First, he was on a mediumship with Kristina Marie, and she hit the nail on the head with everything. She didn't even realize it. This guy, his name is Dave Kane. He's written a book. Um, I want to say it's like I want to say it's a number, but I can't remember the number. But anyway, his son was the youngest victim of the station nightclub fire. It happened here in Rhode Island back in like
Oh,
2002ish, I think. And the stories that this guy had of like signs of after his son passed are like crazy. One in fact was the night of the fire. They got a call. They picked up the call. No, they got a text from their son. It was like the flip phones, and it says, "Mom and Dad, I just want you to know I'm okay." But the time that the text came through, the phone was already like absolutely destroyed in the fire. There'd be
wow.
no way for that phone to send that text, and the kid was already like, unfortunately long past.
Hmm.
Um, because people would like died like almost instantly because of the smoke
Yeah,
inhalation. But he was dead for sure. And the phone sent this text message. Like, how does that happen?
right.
That's huge. That's awesome for a parent from their 19-year-old son who just died in
Hmm.
the most tragic incident in Rhode Island history. 100 people died in like minutes. Another
Hmm.
thing. So, but he has so many stories. He's written a few books, and he has I think there's a movie or documentary made about his son, but it's based on the number. His son was always had his favorite number, and he said it was like a lucky number. And they see this number everywhere and everything. On
Oh,
top of like getting like poignant messages, like his cell phone, like texting them that long after it had been destroyed. Just like how does like what had his phone? Like how the hell is that shit? How the hell do
right,
they do shit like that?
right.
Or how the hell are you gonna explain that to me? For that matter. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know,
I
son,
don't
but
either. And
it's definitely cool.
Wyatt was just into technology
Mhm.
crazy. And if anybody could figure out his ways through the wires and the waves and any kind of energy, it'd be him.
Mhm.
So,
For sure. Like with Heather. Heather wasn't technologically sound mind at all, as I'm not. But Heather was definitely gifted. She had like as many experiences I've had with the unknown, the unexplained. Heather's had like 10 times that amount and more like holy shit stories.
The one that sticks out to me is the flag.
Oh, the flag,
Aztec.
which she knew the guy's name and
Yes.
knew the guy died in Belgium,
Yes.
and yeah, knew that he lived right next door. Like, how do you know that? Like, I found that out months later, and then I dug into the history of these guys. It's like this is the kid that lived next door in the big old Victorian house. How the fuck do you know that, Heather? Like, I don't know. She's like, it just popped in my head.
Yeah, well, and you were the historian, not her.
Right. She hated history. She hated. If I quizzed her on who like were the last 10 presidents, she would get 2 of them. It's like I don't care about that shit, bud. And that's all. We went to Gettysburg, and she got out and she saw Gettysburg. We went to Antietam Battlefield, which I recently visited. It was like one of the second favorite places in this world, second probably to Gettysburg. And so I'm just gonna wait in the cab. We're driving back from the Carolinas. She was tired. And I got back. I went and walked Sunken Road, and I went and took a picture with the Irish Brigade. Like I did this. I worked all around the battlefield. I came back. But did you get some sleep? You ready to drive? She's like, oh no, I wasn't sleeping the whole time. Like why weren't you sleeping? She's like, I closed my eyes. I started to like rest. It's like I started hearing this kid's voice. She's like, then I started tasting like blood in my mouth. All I could taste was blood. And then she's like, this guy's voice. This guy's telling me how he's a young kid. He's from far, far away. He's like, the land here is beautiful, but he just wants to go back to his homeland, and he can't leave this site. I'm like, holy shit! Like fucking 23,000 Confederates just died like in this like little lane right here below us. Who knows? But she'd have experiences like that. We go to Gettysburg, and she'd get like pounding, explosive headaches. Like so it feels like the back of my head's blowing out. She's like, I hate to be dramatic because I know where we are, but she couldn't go to like a little round top. She went to the top at sunset, but like any of the parts of the battlefield, she was like she had wicked like physical symptoms or felt sick, or that's probably had something to do with her definite connection to the other side. So I think that's why she might be more coming through because she was a little connected during her own lifetime. But I don't know. It could be all just theory. I don't know. But it's cool. Either way, however they're doing it, it's cool that they're doing it.
Yeah, and that's all we got is we can talk about it. We don't know, but we know what we feel. Again, we know what we feel, and nobody can take that away from us.
Right. I'm sure it's crazy. So, what are your next books going to be about, Sin? What's number 8 going to be?
Number 8 is a thing I'm doing with Mark.
Yeah.
It is old stories from newspapers all over the country, all over the world, that ghost sightings, ghost happenings, weird happenings that, voodoo kind of stuff that's happened, and vampire. Like there's one from the Rhode Island.
Oh yes, we have many vampires from. It's not just Mercy Brown, the one that comes to mind every time. We have several vampires who actually probably had just tuberculosis, but
yes, and that's what it was about. This particular time was back in the 1800s when they were digging up bodies.
Right. It was in Rhode Island. It's like Mercy Brown was in like 1892, so it was like almost modern times, almost. And they're digging up this girl's body because other people in her family died, and they swear to God she's a vampire because her hair kept growing and her nails kept growing. Like, dude, this is science. This isn't vampires. But they were kind of ignorant. They were farmers. They were superstitious. They lived in the middle of nowhere. There was nothing going on. Of course, it was vampires. It made huge news. And they took this girl's heart out, and she had been dead for a few months, and they burned it on the stone. You could still see the stone sticking out of the ground, like right next to her gravestone. And they took the ashes from the burnt heart, and they made this elixir, and they fed to her brother, who was also sick with tuberculosis, not vampirism. And he also, ironically enough, he also died. The whole family got tuberculosis and died, but for some reason they couldn't identify that as a pulmonary disease.
No.
Just like, oh, she's a vampire.
Yeah,
and we're gonna
gotta be her.
Fucking crazy people.
But that was one family out of
hundreds
that happened to.
That happened to a few different families here in Rhode Island. And one of them had this gravestone that said, I'm waiting and watching, not as like I'm stalking you as a dead demon zombie, but I'm in heaven waiting for you to come and join me or whatever. And yeah, people stole her gravestone, deemed her a vampire. Get the fuck out of here. You're just like desecrating graves. I
Right.
don't know. You're just giving yourself an excuse to steal somebody's cool headstone. That's so
But
not cool at all.
and that was allowed though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I mean they allowed people to be dug up and
This girl still, yeah. Well, they had the oldest war memorial in North America is right here in Rhode Island at a place called we like to call Nine Men's Misery. It was a King Philip's War where the Narragansett Indians captured a whole bunch of colonists, like 10 of them, after they slaughtered a whole brigade of them, and they tortured 9 of them, like skinned them alive and burned them alive. All that awful 17th century shit. And they buried them. And then the monks that built a monastery on the land years later, they put up like a cairn, a memorial. And it was the first war memorial ever in this side of the world. People would go in the 1800s and dig it up because there was a guy there, Benjamin, forgot his last name. His name was Benjamin. He was like 7 feet tall, and he had like allegedly had like a few rows of teeth. He was considered like a giant species or like a crossover of some kind. And they would dig him up to do medical experiments on this grave of these 9 guys who have been like fucking tortured to death. And just leave them alone, dude. Jesus.
Right.
But it's all sorts of shit like that around Rhode Island. All sorts of awful. I grew up. The cemeteries all over Rhode Island. They're not like boneyards that are attached to churches. They're everywhere. They're in the middle of the woods. They're in the middle of nowhere. There was one in the woods when I was growing up, and I remember kids, like when we were like 12, 13, 14 years old, kids in the neighborhood that were a little bit more derelict than I was. They wanted to dig up a gravestone and steal a skull. Like, what the? Why would you fucking do that, dude? Why?
No.
Somebody's head. That guy was alive. This is his resting place. Why? Oh, dude, it would make a great bong, dude. No, dude. No. Oh, people are so stupid.
But that brings up another article that I found that Mark found. Yeah, about coins and things put in cornerstones of buildings as they're being built.
Oh, people leave stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, therefore, the longest it was a kind of a sacrifice, so they would have children.
Oh God.
Walled in.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, like the Masons and crazy sect groups like that.
Oh,
sorry to any Masons I know, but
I mean, I was reading this going, what? Because this mother took money because it was an honor to be chosen as the sacrifice. But as the Masons were blocking up this building, the kid was saying, "Oh, Mom, I can see you still. I can see you still."
Oh, God, that's creepy.
Yeah, and so then they wonder why there are child ghosts coming out of the wall.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Probably right there.
Right, for sure.
But not just awful. Kids. They had horse heads buried. They had regular sized people, adults put in. You know, it was an honor to be chosen.
Religion, that's one of the reasons I don't like religions, because they take advantage of people and it's terrible. That's awful.
Craziness, crazy. So this book is going to be kind of weird.
Oh, nice. Well, no, we need a good weird book every now and then with these fun facts that we don't know. A lot of these, that's what I love. Little history. A lot of this little history gets forgotten about and just like lost in time. We need reminders that, hey, this is the way we used to be, and this is why we're not this way anymore. And those are perfect examples, like putting live children into walls to bless a building. Fuck out of here, dude. Are you nuts?
Would have thought. Craziness.
Stupid. Yeah.
Let's see. The book after that is going to be Spooky Ghost Stories. So hang on for that.
Oh my God. If I had a dime for every spooky ghost story. Oh my God.
And then the number 10 is, it's actually 25 years coming up. August the 10th, the day before 9/11 is when the old hospital here closed.
Oh.
Back in 2001, the day before 9/11. And that'll be 25 years ago. So
Jesus.
I'm bringing out a book on the old hospital and everything that happened there and what it was before.
Hard to imagine that was 25 years ago. That seemed like
That's crazy.
like
isn't it?
yesterday. I feel like
Yeah.
my parents talking about the Kennedy assassination, but I
Yeah.
remember where I was that day. I do. It's like it's a poignant day in history.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that being that long ago, but yeah, it
And
was.
I
I work with people who weren't even born yet. Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean you weren't born on? Dude, I wasn't born until 2003. Get the fuck out of here, guy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You weren't. You don't know. You don't
Right,
know.
you have no idea, kid. You
I
just-
actually was there for both of those occasions, buddy.
what the night the what?
The Kennedy assassination and 9/11.
You're that old? You're not.
I was born an hour before Kennedy got shot. That's my
All right,
only-
so you weren't really there. You didn't know what was going on or anything.
No, hell no.
You really just had the umbilical cord cut. You were still yelling about something. You had no idea what you was. Yeah, you were a mess, and you weren't cognizant in those days.
No, but I was there.
Barely there when Kennedy was assassinated. Just barely came on the scene, literally. And
I was an
Yeah.
I was an hour old.
all right, well, it's okay. So you were kind of there, but yeah, 9/11, we were all there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was Jesus Christ. That was
9/11 was
like that's still fresh in my mind. Like
Oh,
I
God.
can remember exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's weird and how I just stayed in front of the TV all day.
yes.
I couldn't believe it.
I
You
think
know,
we all
it's just
did.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I think we all just kind of stood there in shock.
In shock. I had an uncle, which he was a scumbag, so I kind of wish he got stuck in the city. But he was in the city. He was at City Hall that day as an engineer. He was in the mayor's office doing like a conference. They had that big boom. They were like 6 blocks down from the trade centers. He got stuck in the city for like a week, and then had to go back and assess the other buildings. Talking about he had like some wicked PTSD, but he was an asshole. So I hope he suffered with that as much as possible. But not a good guy. He's my godfather. He's not a great man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if you know him, you know, but he's not worth talking about. So that's. But I knew him. He was in the, and then I worked with a guy. His first cousin had just got married, and her and her husband were going out to Hawaii for their honeymoon, and they were on the flight out of Boston that crashed into the tower. So
Oh,
that's fucking
wow.
terrible. They were like fucking like 27 years old. That's
Mm-mm.
horrible. You know, it's horrible.
Awful. Mm-mm.
And all the shit that's happened since then has just been probably
Yeah,
equally as
it's-
awful. But
It's
Ugh.
great. The world's gone crazy.
yeah, well, I think the world's always been crazy. People have always been crazy. We just know about it a little bit quicker nowadays.
Yeah, too
Um,
quick sometimes.
Yeah, a
Some-
little too quick.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the little town I'm from, everybody knew everything about you anyway before you
Yeah.
did it,
Yeah, right.
and now it's just everybody across the world.
Oh,
can know
yeah.
about it before you-
Don't put your name out there too much because then everybody will know you're getting the algorithm of YouTube, and yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Weird. So that's cool. You got those books coming. Are you doing anything else that people can find you in? You have the paranormal thing. Are you on the YouTube? Are you on the? Do you do anything with that?
I am trying, buddy, to psych myself up to do a podcast, and I cannot make myself do it yet.
Well,
I'm a chicken.
know.
I'm a chicken. But
I'm trying to
Maybe-
produce a girl I've talked about on here. Her name's Kristina Marie. Amazing medium. Amazing. I had Reiki with her a couple weeks ago. Just like peace, just like that instant, yes, this is exactly what I need. She's been telling me about wanting to do a podcast. I'm like, I got her a computer to use. I'm like, I can get you a guest list. I was like, let's do this. I'll put you on my StreamYard. Like, let's do it. So I mean, same thing goes out to Houston. I'm not gonna.
oh
I'm
wow.
not gonna buy you a computer, but if you ever want, something to stream off of, if you ever don't want to pay for streaming, I have an extra chair on here. I'd be willing to let you sit in, and you can do your thing. Off. I'm
Awesome.
like, yeah, you can do whatever.
Awesome. You're the best.
Yeah, you're pretty good yourself there. So check out your book. You can find all your books on Amazon.
All of them are on
I
Amazon.
got Signs 2 right here on my Kindle, right on my phone, so I can just pull it up and look at it and read it at any time. Mostly everything's like pretty easily accessible these days. You don't have to go to Barnes and Nobles and wait in line anymore. You just pull
Right,
the book right up on
right.
your phone. It's great.
Right.
You're on multiple different platforms, so that's awesome. If people want hard copies, they can buy them from Amazon. Yeah.
Exactly. It's also Audible. You can get it on Audible, and if you don't want to read it, you can listen to it. So,
do you have any fun events or do any of that stuff?
Got some great things coming up.
Oh, please talk about it for a second.
Yeah, one of my friends is actually on. Well, two of my friends are actually on there. Mr. Al Cooley and Roger Sims, who is part owner of the Night House in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I'll be up there in January and in February. January's there's some public hunts going on, and I get to be a part of those.
Nice.
And in February, my buddy Mark is coming up from Florida. He'll be doing a gallery reading on the 13th of February.
Nice.
On the 14th, we're going to have a seance and a ghost hunt and a table tipping and all that kind of stuff. So
I want to see more of this table tipping. I almost went to a table tipping event and I couldn't make it, but I definitely want to make it to one because I've heard things. I want to see it. I want to see it, you know?
Me too, because I haven't either. So
I'm open-minded. I'm open-minded that shit can happen, but I think table tipping, I think like those 19th century like mediums who weren't really mediums.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
Mark is the real deal. And so if anybody can do it, he can. And I'm excited. So that's going to be Valentine's weekend in February.
Oh, that'd be a good
weekend. Check out the Night House.
Where is that? Where is that located? Where can people find
Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So look up the Night House KY .com.
Nice. If some of my guests are down in my viewers are down in Kentucky, enjoy that. Enjoy that good whiskey tour because I heard that's really good. Enjoy all of Sin's upcoming soon to be 10 books.
Yeah.
Catch her on these various events. That's really all I got to say. You got anything you want to add, Sin, before we wrap up tonight?
I just appreciate coming on here. I've had a blast with you as usual.
Yeah, it's always an easy conversation and an easy chat. I always love hearing about like I love your projects. I love your books. I love everything that you're doing. I love your charm. I love everything. You're a swell girl yourself. It's always a pleasure, Sin. It's always a pleasure. I want to thank you for coming on for Sin, Schrader Hill, author, paranormal investigator. This has been The Ghost and the Goat. I'm Buddy Thayer. It's been a great show. Tune in next week as we welcome, bear with me, we're having a Three Dudes Brews show a week from Thursday. We're going to have some musical guests on. It's going to be like a Saturday Night Live event where people from a former band that I used to follow that are now in a new band, Paul Phillips and I don't know. They're both going to come on and they're going to play music. They're going to drink beer. We're going to have a good old time. That's on the 18th of December, right before Christmas. And then next week, on Tuesday, Jesus Christmas, buddy, pull up your calendar. I welcome, join me as, maybe Jai will be with us. I hope so, because this is the guest that she recommended. Alicia Brown will be joining us. She's a psychic medium. She could come on. Maybe do some readings, maybe talk ghosts. We've been talking ghosts a lot lately. But that's what we do here on The Ghost and the Goat. It's part of the title of the show. So, like I said, tune in next Tuesday. Tune in a week from Thursday, Three Dudes Brews. Tune into everything that Sin does. Buy all her books. All of them are fantastic. Wait for 8, 9, and 10. They're probably going to fucking rock also. This has been Buddy Thayer, The Ghost and the Goat. Go Finns. Screw the Patriots. Have a good week.